All right, it's finally time. Time for the top 10 movies of 2019. I know January is like halfway done, but better late than never, I guess, right? And there were some movies I still wanted to check out, and I think I've seen enough to make a top 10, so yeah. And like always, this is my top 10, not yours, so don't go complaining, oh, why'd you put this on the list, or why isn't this on here? So if you're just going to be like that, there's really no reason to watching. I don't think you should really watch top 10 videos if you're just going to be like that. But yeah, this is just my preference. If you have yours, that's great. I'm not going to blame you for it. Maybe leave your top 10 down below. I'd be interested in hearing it. So, onto the list. Number 10 is Toy Story 4. It's funny. When this movie was announced, everyone was like, "Oh, is this really necessary? Do we need a fourth one?" And then when it came out, just about everybody loved it. And I'm not saying that's bad. I mean, this movie was really good. I didn't have a problem with there being a fourth Toy Story movie. I thought it would have been great seeing Buzz and Woody and everyone else again. And yeah, this movie was really good. Of course, it's not the best in the series. The first one definitely is, but the animation was spectacular. It's definitely come a long way since the first one. Not that the first one had bad animation. I mean, it was good for 1995 standards, but it's definitely better than Food Fight. And yeah, the animation was spectacular. I love how everyone returns. Uh, the new characters I enjoyed. I liked the duck and the rabbit voiced by Key and Peele. I liked the spork that always wanted to go in the garbage because he doesn't like being a toy. Um, and it was great seeing Bo Peep again since we haven't seen her since Toy Story 2. Um, the one issue I had with this movie is that a lot of the characters get underused, like Jesse and Rex and Mr. Potato Head and Slinky Dog, and all of them really get underused, and they're hardly in the movie. That's kind of the one issue I had, but other than that, I think this was a really good sequel. I don't think we need a Toy Story 5 though, because I think 5 is just kind of overkill, but Toy Story 4 was a good sequel. Number 9 is another sequel, The Angry Birds Movie 2. Oh boy, I had a lot of fun with this movie. I think the first Angry Birds movie is a bit better. I think it's probably because, I had low expectations for it and I ended up really liking it. And it had more adult humor. This does still have some adult humor, and there's still a lot of funny jokes in it. I was definitely laughing throughout, but yeah, this movie was a lot of fun. The animation was beautiful. Every the voice cast all returns except for Kate McKinnon. She's not. Stella doesn't return for this movie, but I like the new characters. I liked Silver, Chuck's sister, who was voiced by Rachel Bloom. Uh, Zeta was a funny villain, and it had a pretty good soundtrack too, as well, and surprisingly, and it was a really fun movie. I'm not sure if we're getting an Angry Birds movie 3, but oh well, even if we're not, at least we still got we still got two movies, and they make for a pretty funny double feature. Number 8 is It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Could you be mine? Could you be mine? Number 8 is A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Absolutely loved this movie. I am familiar with Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I think everyone is. What kind of made it a unique show is that, yeah, it was for little kids, but it wasn't a show that, like, talked down to kids. It talked to kids at their level and dealt with a lot of serious issues like death and even divorce and all that. And it was quite a landmark for preschooler shows, and this movie was amazing. Tom Hanks did fantastic as Mr. Rogers. He kind of looked the part even, and it's a movie I think can connect to everyone. It's very heartwarming and it's really emotional at times, and it's definitely a movie that I definitely loved, and I wouldn't even mind watching it again. And it was very, very good. Number seven is Booksmart. This is a comedy movie that was directed by the flawless Olivia Wilde. I absolutely loved her, and she really impressed me with this. I absolutely loved this movie. Uh, it's basically, it's kind of like super bad, but with a female cast because it's a high school, it's a teen movie, and there's partying and everything. Of course, super bad's a much better movie, but this movie was still very funny, and I really liked it. And yeah, there are sex jokes, but it's a teen movie. I guess that's kind of to be expected. But it's actually surprisingly really witty for a teen comedy, and it's actually very funny, and I can see why a lot of people loved it. I can see it becoming a cult classic soon. Number six is Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. I really liked this movie. I know lots of people are divided on it, but me, I really liked it. I don't know, maybe that's kind of a thing I have for Star Wars. I'm not really negative about it. Even the prequels I have a soft spot for. I thought this was a really good movie. It could have been longer since it's the final installment of the Skywalker saga, but what we got was still good. It was great seeing Lando back again, and it was the effects were great, the visuals, and even the practical effects that they had were great. That's the thing I like about the sequel trilogy. They use some practical effects, which is pretty rare for movies now. Yeah, it could have been a little longer, given it's the big finale, but what we got, I'm still satisfied with. So yeah, number six. Oh no, wait, I did. I'm an idiot. Number five is Terminator: Dark Fate. Come at me, come at me, come at me. I love Terminator: Dark Fate. Yeah, I really liked this movie. Of course, it's not better than Terminator 2. Duh, I'm sure everyone figured that out. But yeah, I really liked this movie. I had no problem with female characters. I mean, Sarah Connor is one of the main characters. I don't see you complain about that. I like how it's more adult oriented. It's just like the other movies, and there's still some blood. It's very violent. Arnold Schwarzenegger, I love how he comes back. I know John Connor. People complain John Connor's not the main character in this one. They did that with Terminator Salvation, and you hated it. So yeah, and it's kind of a shame that this movie bombed because I really liked it, and we're not getting any more Terminator movies, which that's a shame. I really liked this one. Well, at least I got the opportunity to see it. So number four is Hobbs and Shaw. Oh man, this was a fun film. I didn't really expect much from it since I've never seen any of the Fast and Furious movies. But I thought since Dwayne Johnson's in it and I do often enjoy his movies, I thought might as well see it. And plus, it's more of a standalone movie. It's not really a sequel, so it was easy to follow. Even though I think it's kind of ridiculous they make like 10 million of these movies, but I think this was a really good film. This movie, I was laughing hysterically throughout. This movie was surprisingly very, very funny. Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham, I really like their characters' relation. They're like the bickering duo, best friends you see in like every movie, but they do it in a way where it's like really charming. And Idris Elba, I thought he was kind of weak, but at least he did better in this than Ghost Rider 2. Uh, Ryan Reynolds, I was surprised to see him in the movie, and yeah, he was funny, obviously, because this is a David Leitch movie, and he directed Deadpool too, and he's got quite a style, David Leitch. He likes directing over-the-top action movies, I can tell, and I can't wait to see what he comes up with next. And yeah, Hobbs and Shaw, I absolutely loved. Number 3 is Shazam! Yep, number 3 is Shazam. I loved this movie. It was great. Yeah, I know you're probably gonna call me a hypocrite because this movie has humor, but hey, humor in superhero movies, it works when the character is supposed to be funny, if it fits with the character, because Shazam, he's a child, so of course he's gonna act childish. And the comics, they were they were pretty humorous, so so it kind of fit. Uh, there weren't one-liners ruining serious moments. The jokes really fit with the uh, all the parts that were given, like when they're like when the convenience store is getting robbed and they were testing his powers. I was like, we don't know if the suit's bulletproof or yours. Shoot him in the face. Yeah, shoot in the face. It was great. I loved it, and I can't wait for the sequel in 2022. 2 years. We gotta wait that long, but oh well. Yeah, Shazam, I absolutely loved. It was awesome. Number 2 is Alita Battle Angel. I'm sure this movie surprised everyone. It really did. And it's been getting a cult following lately, and yeah, I can kind of see why. This was a very awesome movie. I didn't know this. I thought it was just the style of the movie they went with, but apparently this really was based on an anime. Not really an anime person myself, but I did really like this movie. It's very stylized. I really like the setting of it, and yeah, some of the green screen looked a little off, but I think it had a lot of cool action scenes. I Alita, she was very cute and she was awesome. Uh, the supporting cast did well, like Jennifer Connelly. Who else? Mahershala Ali. There were a lot of good good people in it, and it did really work for me. And yeah, I can see why a lot of people want a sequel because I wouldn't mind seeing more because this movie it was pretty awesome. Yeah. So Lita Battle Angel it really impressed me. And now the number 1 pick. You probably know what it is because I praised the heck out of this movie when I reviewed it. I know people hate this movie, but honestly, I don't care. I loved it. And that is X-Men Dark Phoenix. Yeah, come at me. I loved this movie. Man, this movie was great. Of course, it's not as good as Days of Future Past. Or even Logan. Or, heck, possibly maybe in the Deadpool movies. But I still loved it. This movie, it was... Oh my god. It was amazing. And it's beautiful. Could it have been a little longer? I admit, yeah. How long is this? It's only an hour and 54 minutes. Pretty short for a finale, but oh well. I took what I could get and I had a lot of fun with it. Yeah, the visual effects they're stunning. I'm surprised the movie with Grey Hulk got nominated for best visual effects and this didn't, but oh well, what are you going to do? And the character arcs are done really well, like with Magneto, Jean, Beast, Mystique. They all do really well, and yeah, it will. I know a lot of people complain, but Wolverine's not in it. True, but didn't you even listen when Logan came out? Hugh Jackman said he was done. And plus, you don't even really need Wolverine to make a good X-Men movie because he didn't even join the team until like a decade after they debuted in the comics. So, yeah, I think this was clearly a goodbye to the franchise. I know we're getting New Mutants. Hopefully, if we do, if they delay it one more time, I'm out. And I think the way it does kind of fit for a conclusion to the franchise because they screwed up in The Last Stand, so I think their way of ending the franchise is we want to satisfy the fans by giving a more faithful adaptation of the Dark Phoenix saga. Because they failed with The Last Stand, and they really crammed in the Gifted storyline, and there was no subplots in this movie, um, which was a relief. It was cool to see Nightcrawler again in this movie, and this movie was just amazing. A lot of the characters, not all of them returned, but a good amount of them, and I did have a lot of fun with this. I really enjoyed it. It was a once in a lifetime theater experience, and yeah, it's going to be upsetting seeing this Fox franchise, X-Men franchise done after New Mutants, but hey, I'll take what I can get, I guess. Yeah, and I don't think this is not the worst movie in the series. Origins Wolverine was much worse than this, I thought. But yeah, this movie, it was amazing. Simon Kinberg, he wrote a lot of the X-Men movies, but he made his directorial debut for this, so I guess he really wanted to put effort into this, and I'm glad he did, because this movie was amazing. It's a real shame it bombed. I saw it in theaters when it came out, and I absolutely loved it. It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and I loved it enough to get the Blu-ray, so yeah, I love Dark Phoenix. I'm gonna get hate for this, but honestly, I don't care. So yeah, that was my top 10 movies of 2019. If you agree with any of these, cool. If you didn't like any of the movies on this list, hey, I don't care. Go ahead. That's fine. But yeah, this was just my personal list. If you want, you can leave your top 10 down below. I'd be interested to see what it's all about. So, yeah. So I'll definitely review a movie next time, so I'll see you later.